Welcome back, troglodytes, to Would You Rock or Not? This episode is to teach a lesson that some of you guys might not have learned yet. Just because your guitar says it's a prototype does not necessarily mean it is a prototype. That's right, we're talking about the SG 50s Tribute. In the 50s, as far as a solid body guitar went, you pretty much just had your Les Paul in all the different iterations. Now, the SG was introduced as a complete replacement for the Les Paul, but that was in the 60s. So when Gibson came out with this new model, the 50s Tribute SG, even they were scratching their heads a little bit. How are we going to market this as a legitimate guitar? What they decided to do was stamp every single one of them with the word prototype. It is located on the back of the headstock right under the Made in USA stamp. So if you're not familiar with the word prototype, it essentially means it was pre-production, the one that they made to base all the other models off of. Generally, if you find a prototype guitar, it is worth more to a collector because they want the first one made. Now, the reason why they did that is pretty much because of what I just said. An SG didn't exist in the 50s, so they were kind of painting the story of this is like the prototype SG that they made in the 50s. So this stamp does not mean you have a prototype of the Gibson SG 50s Tribute. Let's go ahead and take a look here. Here's the first one that kind of sparked this idea for this video, offered by RTB Music Supply. He thought he had something really special. Unfortunately, I had to message him with this information to let him know that, unfortunately, no, it's not quite as special as you think, but they are really cool guitars. But here's another one, stamped prototype. Another one, stamped prototype. Now this next one is my favorite. Stamped prototype, but no Made in USA stamp. I think this one's the coolest out of all of them because it made it out of the factory without the huge Made in USA stamp. And for some reason, you always see these things advertised like they're something special. Like, let's take a look here on eBay. You'll always see prototype, prototype, prototype. You always see it in the title, even if we go back to these Reverb listings here. Prototype, mint prototype. And this guy says it's a prototype. It could become collectible. It's just kind of funny how many people get tripped up on these guitars simply because of that stamp. So I hope this video educated you on these guitars, so if you ever run into one, you don't overpay thinking it's something more than it is. Now the 50s Tribute as a guitar, it was offered in 3 different finishes. You had black, a Tobacco Sunburst, and a wine red finish. The official colors are right here. They have mahogany bodies with satin finishes. The neck is also mahogany, and the rosewood fretboard is still present on these. And they feature Gibson P90 pickups. Now personally, I think these SGs look great. You don't see a lot of SGs, 1, without pickguards, and 2, with P90 pickups. I really wouldn't mind doing a full review on one of these guitars. But something else about this guy's listing struck me, and it's on the front side of the headstock this time instead of the back. What is this thing that is on this headstock? If you don't know what this thing is, it's called a String Butler. I believe these are fairly new, and a lot of people have been doing reviews on them, and for the most part, I think people like them. But what this contraption does is it fixes the Gibson headstock problem while making your guitar look very ugly. Alright, so let's take a look at a regular Les Paul's headstock. You see these middle 4 strings here, how they meet at the nut at an angle? That is bad. That is why your string falls out of tune all the time, especially this top G string. It creates this pinch here, which is just bad for tuning stability when you're doing bends. So what this String Butler does is eliminates that. It causes the string to bend up here on a roller bar, I think it is, and then it meets the nut at a straight angle. This makes it so your guitar won't fall out of tune as easily when you're doing bends. The String Butler really has me curious, but they're about $50 on eBay. I'm not $50 curious, but I'm like $30 curious. So hopefully I can buy a guitar that just has one on it one day, because I see these on guitars a lot more often now. The only questions left: would you rock a 50s Tribute SG or not? What are your thoughts on the String Butler? Leave your answer down in the comment section below, and we will see you tomorrow on the next episode. Take care.